Hello, hello, my fantastic audience. Hello, you guys. Hello again. As we said in the invite, there's no time to waste, everybody. So let's roll. The bar of tomorrow is now again at your doorstep with our European tour. My name is Maciek Starosowski, and I'm your host and the bar of tomorrow European expert. Last month, some of you might remember, we tuned in live from a beautiful Milan, where we had a chance and pleasure to talk to Luca Aiuti, a great bartender and a content creator from Rome, focusing on the crucial matter of the ice management behind the bar. Well, talking about ice, believe it or not, made us a little bit cold, so we decided to change the scenario drastically and visit one of the legendary European cities. Here I am in Portuguese capital, city of Lisbon, the weather in a full swing, a city where a lot of cultures meet and cross, and that gives us bartenders opportunities to work with ingredients in various and very interesting ways. Also, the diversity of Lisbon adds a very important element that we bartenders can be really proud of. Here I am, airing direct to you from this amazing location, Topo Martin Moniz, high energy cocktail bar set on the 5th floor in the center of this beautiful city that you can see and hear, I guess. So next time you're in Lisbon, please come and visit this amazing location, amazing bar, where you can, learn a little bit of the super famous Portuguese food and wine and hospitality. As you know, every time we have this live stream on tour, I have a special bartender guest on my so-called hot seat. So we have a live and hopefully dynamic discussion on how you guys see the menu design, because this is the focus this time around, being part of the change. I love talking about the change. And yes, I have found a perfect person to take this deep view over the, another favorite of my subject, that is, as I said already, sustainable menu design, with a focus, real focus on the loop, but not only this. So here I am with Fernando Gonçalves, who is apparently the perfect person and the ideal person that I had to invite on the show, as he carries a lot of carries a lot of experience and practice in running bars and restaurants in Portugal. As a matter of fact, Fernando is executive bar manager for a massive hospitality group called Platform, a company that owns, there we go, and runs over 160 outlets. Woof! I guess working for such a nationwide, massive establishment, it offers you a wide, range of different experiences and challenges. One of them being really ensuring that smart operation, sustainable processes, less waste approach is pretty much right at the top of your list.
So thank you so much for the invitation. It's really a pleasure to be a part of this project. The Bar World of Tomorrow, I think, is really important for our industry. I work in the bar scene for the last 15 years. In the last 6, I'm in the Platform group. Nowadays, I'm the general bar manager of the group. We have a lot of different restaurants, and one are more sustainable than each other, but this is a process. We are doing baby steps and improving each day.
Fernando, thank you so much. Thanks a lot for being with us today. I can't wait for you to share the stage with us and listen to your stories. But for now, just sit down, relax, and I'll get back to you very, very soon. The loop, menu engineering as the base of all. Oh yeah, guys, sustainable menu design, my favorite subject, as already mentioned, as it is the base and beginning of all. The loop, I call this very approach and method of menu engineering. What is it then? What do I mean by the loop approach? Well, very simple. It is the way that you design your menu, as you would loop all the ingredients between your drinks, your cocktails on your list, quite often involving other departments like kitchen. The loop ensures that you don't only use waste or spent leftovers from one drink on another, but it requires you to have a very holistic, complex, quite coherent take on the menu. Products, ingredients, ice, water, purchase plan, delivery system, the service style, and different options that you have behind the bar. Also, it even includes the glassware and the equipment that you use. So the loop is a shift from putting together drinks on a piece of paper into more of a, I call it design thinking approach. Menu engineering is again the perfect example of our 5R motto, guys. Rethink, reuse, reduce, recycle, and respect. So I guess it is very obvious to us, but I think at the same time it's important to highlight your menu is your strategy, is your set of values, your philosophy, is what I call it your business card, and finally it is your story that you're trying to tell to your guest. And the story is the key factor here. If you're telling your story, then make sure it's complex, coherent, and complementary as possible. Otherwise, your story is not really good, and people don't like listening to crap stories at all. Well, designed, complex, and thoughtful drink list will not only make you money, that's for sure, but also let you direct your guests into your story. Today, though, I will focus on this very fascinating, at least to me, element of the menu design that I call the loop. In other words, the loop means that you create a menu that will use most of or even all ingredients planned, and some drinks will be based or use leftovers from different ones from the list. So you basically looping your ideas. The loop is about, well, looping the ingredients and techniques. So instead of throwing away your spend items, you would plan well ahead and include those left parts into another cocktail, another option. You know, the drinks that are listed on your menu, they could be those leftovers could be like a solid base, the garnish, the snack, the cordial, or some other way you would use it. So the loop is all about taking super smart and conscious. We'll use the word conscious very often today. Conscious approach. And when you start planning your menu, try to ensure that you'd loop some of the ingredients between drinks, step by step, bit by bit. I hear this song in my ears already. So how do you do this? Well, the key element, have your menu well balanced like a perfect cocktail. Well, first and most important, you must plan it very, very well. Explain the idea to the bartenders that you work with on the menu, and prepare a clear list of ingredients, proposed ingredients, planned ingredients you will be using, so the loop can start going into life from the very, very beginning. We like to focus on local ingredients, of course, so the local communities are being heavily involved in your business, but you also reduce the carbon emission. Extremely, extremely important. I always try to use those early menu meetings, you know, the design meetings, to use them for the setting out the strategy, to find a theme in this, if there is one, and have a precise overall concept. I also like to use a drawing or writing board for those meetings, so we can draw the ideas. I look at the time of the year, and based on that, I'll draw a list of possible and approachable ingredients that are the best quality and price because of the season. I would do a clear split between pre-batched and sort of ready to make, ready to order drinks. I'd plan the type of ice I'd be using and have it split or sort of have it selected as well. So, you know, I'm not over or under using one or the other type of ice. You know, you might remember our live session on ice management from Italy. We had some really good takeaways. You know, the storage of ice, the purchase, the selection of cubes versus crushed, and finally the pre-batching as the best way to cut down on it. And then finally, the methods and techniques of preparing the drinks. This is also very, very crucial. Have it all really well balanced, really planned, so the best use of time and space. As you see, this time around, my talk on the design is not full of hardcore numbers, you know, straight lines and precise calculation. Instead, what is full of is, I would say, the word planning is probably the one I'll be using over and over again. In fact, I believe that menu engineering and the loop should always start at the drawing board, where you and your team will plan the next steps, including the timeline of your creating process, creative piece. So the loop is all about the change, in your menu design operation, as well as in your daily approach. And you start looping. Once you start looping, you'll never get out of this. So let's kick on and let's kick off this dirty talk on this super clean issue. Let's loop, guys. Okay. We managed to change the location very quickly. You know, it's fast. No, I hope you guys you didn't catch us on this change. But important question for you for now: do you loop?
Of course.
How do you loop?
I loop everything.
Do you?
I loop a little bit of everything.
Okay. We'll talk about how much and how often do you loop in a second. But
Okay.
Is it as a concept familiar to you?
Yeah, of course. I think looping is super interesting and is the smartest way to be in this business.
All right. Before we expand on that, I'm going to ask you some so-called icebreaker questions, so the audience gets to know you a little bit more.
Of course. Let's go.
Tequila or gin?
Tequila and mezcal.
Okay. I kind of expected you not to answer in a very straightforward way. White or red wine?
In the wine, I really like the whites.
Yes.
If it's sparkling, I like it better.
Also, again, not a straight question. Okay. Answer. Fado or techno?
This is a hard question.
Okay.
I really like fado. I really like techno as well, but I normally prefer hip hop.
Hip hop.
Hip hop.
Okay. Can you do fado and techno in one time?
Yeah,
You can probably
more fado and hip hop. I think
Looping or not looping?
Of course, looping. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the most important question we should ask today is to loop or not to loop. So let's dwell on that a little bit. Let's talk about the looping and the very importance of what we call it the menu engineering and the smart menu engineering. But before that, as I said, the audience probably as well, we would like to get to know you a little bit more. So why don't you give us a few words on your story? Who you are? What is your story?
Okay, let's go. So my name is Fernão. So I am 33 years old. I'm from Lisbon.
Okay.
I started working in the bar like 15 years ago, 16 years ago. I was.
So you're a
Yeah,
baby,
I was like a baby in the bar.
Okay.
I was like a dishwasher in a big club in Lisbon, and after I start growing in the bar and in the industry, and now I'm working in Platform Group. It's a big group. We have a lot of restaurants in Lisbon and in
Platform?
Porto.
That's what
Platform, yeah.
I like the name.
The form of a plate.
Yeah, sure.
And we have different restaurants here.
How many?
Is almost 160.
This is crazy.
It's always changing, actually.
Okay.
When you are a big group. And the nice thing is the group is completely, the range of the restaurants is completely different. We have like two Michelin stars, we have burger restaurants, pizzeria, and Mexican restaurants, a little bit of everything.
Taco places as well.
We have a taco place, yeah.
I was driving with Fernão last night, and he was going, our restaurant. At some stage, I went, oh my God, there's every single restaurant in the city yours. But this is interesting. But they're obviously gives you a lot of, like a massive platform to work. It gives you a lot of opportunities, but also faces you with a lot of challenges in terms of what we're going to be talking today, which is the menu design. And I would like to start on the whole concept of the menu design. Where do you actually place your menu on your business scale in terms of the strategy, philosophy, the direction? There's a big difference. I think this is the difference that needs to be pointed out between the list of drinks, a list of drinks, and a cocktail menu. I want to ask you, and yourself, your audience as well, if you guys want to, give us some answers to this or your insights on that. How you think and feel about the menu? Is it the drink list? Is it bigger, broader? What is your take?
In my opinion, a drink list is something without design, without smart choice on it. So when we do a design menu, a proper menu, we have a little bit of everything happening there. We have wine lists, the beverage list, the cocktail list, all together in one menu. So you should be democratic, polite with the price range, with the choice that we have in the menu as well, to be like local products and of course regular products.
What do you mean by being democratic? What does it mean?
Democratic is drinks for everyone. So
Okay.
if you don't want alcoholic drinks, you should have non-alcoholic drinks.
Very important.
Not only for kids, but for adult people as well.
Sure.
You should have like sweet
You had
drinks.
you had a no-alcoholic Negroni last night in one of your outlets.
This is important.
And
it's
it
an
tasted
adult
perfect.
drink. Yeah?
Yes.
And you should have like sweet drinks, strong drinks, high acidity drinks, a little bit of everything. But
Okay.
when you have a little bit of everything in a short list, because I believe that we should have short list cocktails, like with 12, 10,
Yeah, sure.
around these cocktails, you should really be really smart in the shoes that we have.
Okay, so all the choices have to be very well planned, and
Yeah.
they have to be very well prepared
And organized.
Organized. So, in other words, for you, the menu is the strategy, philosophy, is the set of values, as opposed to just combine list of different elements that you put on the menu. Basically.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
basically.
Okay, cool. So at least we agree on one thing. And then you use the word smart in terms of designing the menu.
I'm going to use it a lot.
you used it, yeah, please, yes. Smart and I think conscious is something that
Yeah, and
when
conscious
we
is the
when we
same.
talk about it is a word that you like to use, which again we agreed on that. And then will smart or can smartly design menu be beneficial in terms of the money intake, in terms of your profitability? Can you see the menu being a strong factor in terms of your financial success or no success?
Yes, of course. If you don't do the maths, something is wrong. You are only being creative. But so in the menu, you always do the math,
Okay.
and we always organize the menu by this math as well. The range of price is really important, and the way that we choose the price that we're going to sell this product is really important as well. It should be a sustainable business, is really important.
What do you mean by that, by sustainable business?
We should make money in the end of the day.
There we go. This is why you have
This is
160
why we are
restaurants,
here.
not minus 160
Yeah.
restaurants. Okay.
But this is why all are in this industry. This is a business, okay? This
Sure.
is not a charity program or something like that.
Okay, so so when you create it in a smart way, you are a strong believer that menu can really make you money, and badly designed menu can actually be, on the contrary,
Yeah, of course.
not really beneficial. All right, so the first thing I want to start on and sort of to drag you into this conversation is the planning and the process. Something that is, from my point of view, is extremely important. When I'm talking to bartenders around the world, I hear more and more that they understand, you guys understand, that the importance of a good action plan for their next steps. That the menu is not just one day we sit down and put a couple of drinks into and next day we print it and it's ready. That is a planning process, and planning, in my understanding, it should really consider all the areas. I'm going to list those areas and I'm going to ask you a question afterwards. I know that you want to jump into the answer. So the availability of how available the product at the price that won't kill your profit is at the time of making. So not only at the time of making the menu, but in 3, 5, 6, maybe 9 months, because you don't, menu you create today, you don't create it for today and tomorrow. You normally would last for at least a few months, probably sometimes even more. So how this is important in the change, the timing behind the creative process, so how you plan the timing of that, the number of samplings, the tastings, the collaboration with the graphic agency or graphic people, and then obviously the promotion and communication on social media and within the community. This is something, these are the elements that are extremely important in the whole menu design, okay? This is why it's such a broad project. And the loop, the list of ingredients that you'll be working on and working with. And finally, think of the next menu beyond the one you currently work on. So how you'd be able to use some of the ingredients in, say, 6 and 9 months. I know that we have some different ideas about it, but let's discuss it. Implementing different techniques that will make your sustainable change life and live a very good and long life. There are just some elements that you want to put in your planning calendar, guys. This is sort of, focusing on the bigger pictures. So for now, from your perspective, what is your creative process? Maybe the scheduling, maybe the approach to the menu engineering, if you want to expand and give us some more practical details.
I can, how it works for me. We always measure everything. So we measure the leftovers that we have, the waste that we have in the bar, and we have a plan to change the menus with once a year or twice a year, depends of the restaurant and the brand of the restaurant. Of course, in the Michelin star that we have, Alma, we change more often, and of course in the burger shop we change with less frequency. What we've done is to bring some news. We have a lot of cocktails like the special of the day, or imagine in the Father's Day, New Year's Eve, in the birthdays or something like that.
The occasional.
We create cocktails and we introduce new things in the menu. And when we do this, we always measure what is the waste that we have. We measure every day, and in the end of the month, we have a big picture of what we are doing wrong or what we can improve. So imagine, in the pizzeria, we are having a lot of waste of basil. So we can use this basil to make some foam or some add-on to our cocktail to improve a little bit. So we have done this in a Moscow Mule, for example. We have a foam. We did a basil foam because we have a lot of wasted in basil, and this is a product that we rotate a lot. And this is a super nice and easy idea. It should be easy.
It should be easy.
Yeah, it should be easy. Otherwise, it's
Do you believe that simplicity is the key?
Yeah. If it's too complicated, it's gonna be nice in the first week or the second week, but after, the consistency is the key.
Would you then communicate with your guests that this is the way that you do these things, that so they made aware, or that you are looking at it? You know, you're very conscious about working with the ingredients. Is it something that
depends? I think depends of the concept, of course, of the restaurant, but I think it's something that the guests just enjoy it, but you shouldn't go in their face. No, we are just using the waste that we have, and don't be completely freak. Be like natural using this.
Yeah, I think being complete freak and being complete extreme is maybe too much, but I would probably challenge you on that a little bit, because I think that if you taking this sustainable approach and you're very conscious about the ingredients, how you use them and how you look things around and how you design and create the menu, what is the process behind, it's nice to talk to your guests about it, because it can be a part of the story. I'm not saying that in every single restaurant out of 160 that you have, because some restaurants your guests, they don't really expect it. This is not the reason why they come when they go there. But maybe at the high ranked restaurants, the more prestige, or maybe those restaurants where people have more time to talk to your service, to the servers. Maybe it could be an idea also to introduce some sort of narrative that this is what you do, so people get interested. And maybe this is how you can teach your audience as well certain techniques.
We explain and we motivate, and more than the guest, we motivate the team. So they are ready to answer these questions if they need it. The way that we choose the products as well, this is what I try to the team are most ready to explain. So why we choose this product instead of this one, why we do the approach of local producers, like a local ceramist or like a local small producer of vodka or something like this. And you can be everything together, and you can explain it. Have always a story to tell to your guests. But if they are interested, because if it's a bar, if they want just to be there and have a nice time,
Again, it's this part of the very conscious and very aware service. When your people, they know when they should introduce that talk and introduce that ideas, and maybe when they know they should just shut up, put a plate on a table, and just disappear, because this is why people came to the restaurant. And of course, what I was trying to say is that these can be very interesting elements of the conversation, the discussion, and your words they're creating. And in order for our audience to be a bit more focused and a bit more educated, then you can come in, and be like a bridge between the different ideas and actually be the educator. So yeah, just so we're clear on that. And then what do I have next for you? Well, as you know, we've already talked about it. We talked about it last night. We talked about it today, this morning, and all the time. I'm a massive fan of the idea of looping. For me, the looping is, I get crazy about it a little bit. I don't get too extreme, but I like to loop things. I like the idea of looping the ingredients on my menu, and I always try to encourage bartenders to create menus with this very thought in mind, to ensure that all of the ingredients, are fully used, and eventually they create a sort of a circle, like the loop. This approach enables you as a creator, to have a very broad, complex, and very full view of the design, but also it triggers you to consider all different aspects as part of the menus. So now is the question, I know you're waiting, how do you, it makes me so much fun, how do you tackle this change? You know, because the loop, conscious loop is the change, it's part of the change. Is it a process that you rapidly implement? You come in, I don't know, Monday morning to your restaurant and say, from today, every single thing is looped, every single ingredient, or you actually do it step by step, you spread it over the time. It's a sort of small spoon process when you do the baby steps, as you say.
This is the big thing. You should go in the baby steps, because if you change completely one day to the other, you're going to ruin your business. So you should be conscious about the necessities that you have in your business to change, and do small change, because it's going to impact a lot of things. It's going to impact your team. It's going to impact the way that your clients view your restaurant. It's going to impact the bills as well. So you should do small changes, and step by step. Don't be completely evasive, and you should be creative in this part, because sometimes you need to think out of the box, of course.
Okay.
But depends, because imagine if you need to loop one ingredient that you really need to loop it because you have waste, or because you want to increase this ingredient to your menu, you should be careful and you should be wise in the way that you're going to introduce the ingredients. Because in my case, I work in restaurants business, so we have the kitchen, we have the pastries, so we all works together. So let's improve together as well.
You're taking me to another element of this whole conversation, which is the collaboration between the departments. But before I move that, is there, within your system of restaurants, is there one or maybe a couple examples of restaurants that you're particularly proud of, or maybe there's a restaurant that you feel that is or was doing a very good job on sustainable approach and the looping? Is there?
Yeah. We have some restaurants that we are in the beginning, or we are changing a few steps, and in the other ones that we are really into it. We closed the restaurant actually in the pandemic. That in this one we are completely improving all the sustainable part of the bar and of all the restaurant. It was Pesca.
Okay. And now is, I think, something different. Is it the one we
now is Pica-Pau? Yeah. Now we loop it for a different restaurant.
You've looped it. Okay.
Because this is not. We have a few problems during the pandemic, and we need to loop the restaurant. But then back in the days, we do a lot of research, and we figure it out a lot of answers to our problems in the sustainability part. How to use vegetables in our cocktails, how to keep the innovating with using like poor ingredients or well-known ingredients like peas. We use the chickpeas, we use the peas. It's easy because it's always frozen, so you have it all of the year.
Sure.
We use the pea protein as well instead of the egg white.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And
so this is how you can. They say, shot two birds at the same time. Not that I like to shot the birds at all. But what I mean is that you can do vegetables. It's a vegetarian, not just vegetarian, but vegan element. So you can.
If you have vegan guests,
this
case we have a lot of vegan guests, so we should have like vegan.
Plus,
cocktails.
you loop it, so you use the ingredient that is.
And it makes sense.
Yeah.
If it makes sense, you're gonna do it. Imagine we have Salad Corta is a beef restaurant only about meat. I'm not gonna have a vegan cocktail.
Vegan cocktails in a beef restaurant.
It doesn't make sense. We don't need to do this. So
well, one element won't be sold. That's for sure.
If it makes sense, we're gonna do this. If it doesn't make sense, we don't gonna do this. This is the key thing about all this process. It needs to make sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm gonna jump into my conclusion in a very second. But before that, there are a lot of factors and elements that can help and improve the looping in your menu design. One of them, and you've already touched on, will be a collaboration between the kitchen and the bar.
Yeah.
Both bar and the kitchen should have a very complementary relationship, I believe. I know it's not always easy, but they should. Working together can very much reduce amount of waste at both departments. And you can reuse a lot of ingredients that are commonly used in both areas.
Yeah.
Like citrus, fresh veg, you mentioned fresh veg, herbs and fruit. will work with the same ingredient, and all we need to do is to learn how to cooperate in this matter. This is very important. Planning again will be a very important part of this change, and planning together.
Yeah.
So now comes the question for my fantastic guest. For your experience for now, how in this it's difficult. It can be a very sparkly relationship, bar and kitchen, bartenders and egos, kitchen egos. Can you think of some examples? And I'd like you to give us some, real life examples when you guys managed to create common sustainable space and help both departments in what I call the loop.
So we run bars in restaurants. So the key thing in our business is food.
Sure.
So we should respect the kitchen, and the kitchen is on the top of our priorities. So we should go around. We should check in the kitchen what is the leftovers, what is the new ingredients that they're going to use, what is the new menu. If they have, like, imagine in the kitchen they have not a problem for us is super good in the bar because we don't chew our ingredients. We only drink it. So we drink flavor. But in the kitchen, sometimes if you use some vegetables that they have a lot of fibers, they don't going to use this part of the vegetable. Okay. So we can use it to make infusions, okay, to make shrubs or something like that. So we can use these ingredients, and in this case, we add value to our menu, and we don't have waste of this product, of course, and we can improve our cocktail menu. And if you are doing this with the kitchen as one, it's better for you and for your guests, because it doesn't matter if your bar is really good and the kitchen is so. It's important is that all experience is really good and brings some news.
Yeah. And it's unique in that sense. Was Pesca like that?
Yeah, it was. Pesca it was super like that, and even the rest of the restaurants we try to do this always. I always work with the chefs. Okay. I always talk with the chefs of what you're gonna use. Let's keep this ingredient, or let's looping this ingredient for another one. How the bar is gonna react to do this. And the pastry as well. The pastry.
So there's a blend. Oh, pastry. Oh, yeah, exactly. Pastry is a great idea, great example, and great space to work with bar.
Because you have a lot of leftovers in the pastry that you can use, like vanilla or something like that. You don't need
different types of sugar.
Yeah.
Different types of nuts, different types or eggs.
Yeah.
Or you can do your egg white in a bar and then egg yolk in a pastry.
Sometimes they use a lot of egg white, so we can use it as well. Or imagine if they use like vanilla or the nuts, we can use the same nuts or the leftovers from the vanilla to make like syrups or infusions. It's super easy, and
it's interesting because you sound like it's so simple, so natural, so obvious. And I think this is the mentality that should be behind. That it's natural that if you run out of certain ingredients, you don't run to the shop and buy them again. You just go and
don't overcomplicate.
And you run around your organization or your outlets and you try to find the ingredients.
Yeah.
Okay? Especially that quite often you can replace some ingredients with the other ingredients, and they can actually play the same role in a like the acidic approach. The citrus can be replaced by some of the fresh fruit.
Sometimes we use the juice, and they use the white part of a lemon or the peels, and we use the zesties as well. But we can use the same product. We have different profiles in the same product,
exactly.
But in the different
ways.
I
also think that quite often especially in a pastry kitchen, you would have a lot of like in my country we would use a lot of apples, and then apples they carry a lot of acidity, so you can actually translate it into your cocktail menus, and replace the citrus that can become very, very expensive because of the time of the year. Where I come from, it's colder and the citrus is way more expensive. So or grapes may as well. These are the fruits, or kiwis.
High acidity.
Yeah, the high acidity. So maybe these are the ways that you can actually achieve very similar results.
Here in Portugal, we are lucky because we have a lot of
lemons
and orange, and we have a lot of different products that we can use.
Yeah, this is this beautiful part of Lisbon as well. That this cross culture. It's so many things. Wow, we could talk like last night about it, but let's move on. So I think working with ingredients also consider planning for the future, and this is something that I know we have maybe slightly different idea about. But we call it a foraging, but also what I mean by this is that we use those different techniques of preserving the food. Okay, so I come, as I as you guys know, I come from Poland. You know, it's a not just a cold country, but it's a very poor country. So preserving the food, excessive foods, would be a must for my mom, my grandmom, and my previous generations. So for us, it's just normal. And I like to take this idea and not just to ensure that I have enough food in my storage, but I can crack this whole concept of seasonality, and this way create summer menus. For instance, summer menus in winter because I've preserved some food, or maybe spring drinks in autumn. All this by being still sustainable, inexpensive, very conscious, using local produce because I'm still using the local produce, and not polluting the world by selfishly bringing small amounts of needed given ingredient to town and country, and be also super exciting about it because it's being outside of the box by reusing and reducing all the elements of my produce in a very is a natural consequence of the design. I don't want you to get lost of what I'm talking about, so there's a question coming, and increasing also the profitability or the profit as a result. So, being Portuguese, living in a country like you are, what do you think about food preservation and getting out of this, being only seasonal and using summer ingredients in summer and winter ingredients in winter, and so on and so forth? How does this affect the planning and design? And would you ever use that? Is it something that you do?
We should think about this when you are planning the menu. So this is the right moment to choose if you're going to use strawberry and how do you going to use the strawberries.
Yes.
So if you're going to use frozen, if you're going to use fresh ingredients, and if you do foraging or not, or if you left this part to a company that are completely into it. Imagine if we use a lot of seaweeds coasts. So we have a small company that they pick up these plants for us, and they are completely organized on this part, and we use their knowledge. This is really important. In the
So working with local
way,
suppliers, you're not just using their product, but you also use the knowledge and share and exchange the knowledge.
Yeah.
This is
Imagine
super
with the micro flowers and the microgreens, I always call the guy, okay, Nuno, can we use this right now? Or
you call Nuno?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, okay.
He's the owner of the company. Yeah. He starts a small company in the rooftop of a building, and now he's in the city. Sometimes he's really local. And about the preservative way that we do the preservation of the food and of the liquids, we have a lot of techniques nowadays. You can use you can do shrubs, you can do liquors, because imagine now is the elderflower season. You can pick up all the elderflowers that you can. You can make liquors, save it, and use it for all the year. Or you can.
So you would use your spring element in the winter menu, for instance.
Yeah, you can use it.
You could do this.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Because you have it. If you have it, and if it makes sense, let's do it. If it doesn't make sense, don't use it.
Because this is the whole idea about not being too extreme, no?
The frozen ingredients is really important as well.
Okay.
This is something that I really believe. So imagine if you are doing like a beetroot juice or something like that, you can froze the beetroot juice.
Yes.
And use it like different layers for your cocktails. Not only like something to freeze the cocktail, but like an extra ingredient that can change the drink in the middle.
Okay. And then freezing is a great way of preserving the quality of the food as well. And then you can my country is so cold that sometimes just people freeze as well. So we preserve them this way. But this is for another talk. Okay, so you would consider this, but then what I gain from your approach is that you don't go crazy, you don't go too extreme, and then if you don't have to preserve the food because you have so much available produce during the year that it's different. Because when I
play with it.
You play with this because where I come from, comes like October and November and December, we get really low on fresh produce because or we get it, exported from different countries like Portugal,
South America,
or North African stuff, and then the carbon emission just goes crazy. So this is why for us, and I guess I'm talking to all those people that have similar challenge. For us, preserving the food, different ingredients, and use them in 6-9 months. It's the way of being still attractive and creative.
Yeah, I think nowadays you have a lot of companies, and they are well known. They are doing like purees and syrups and all this stuff, and they are expert doing this. So you should, if they are expert picking up mangoes in the right ripe moment, you should go with the
Use the local expertise. Okay.
the local or even the big company's expertise.
Sure.
If they have the expertise, use it. Otherwise, you're gonna be like, I can do a super nice mango puree, but maybe for 1 or 2 months. After they're gonna dilute, lower the sugar, and it's not. The consistency part is really important in the when you do the menu, and thinking about
this
it.
very comment comes to my mouth, but I'm gonna wait for a couple more questions and see if what I think of you is actually truth. But so let's move on a little bit because we got to squeeze the time a bit, and especially that we have so many different topics and subjects and ideas to talk about. But one thing that I want to touch on again a little bit is this, I call it a beast, is the ice. We had this last month when we went to Italy. Yeah. We spoke to our friend Luca, who had some ideas and expertise on the ice management. I'm a true believer that ice is a very, very strong element of your menu design, and this is what the bar offer should really be very smart and very. It can bring a massive and a significant part of the menu design. So with ice management, you reduce your ice intake if possible. How do you do this? So smart menu design, balanced drink list, pre-batch cocktails. We talk about it soon. Possibly on-tap solutions, refreezing the ice, right cooling equipment. In your outlets, this is the question for you. In your outlets, you have to deal with a lot of ice business. You have nearly 160 restaurants. But I'd like you to bring us some ideas of how you plan your use of ice while designing the menu. Is this something that you again you make sure that it's the right selection and it's cleverly put together? Yeah.
Normally, what we produce the ice on our restaurants. I know a lot of cities have and here in Lisbon as well, we have the ice suppliers. But I think they use a lot of energy supplying the ice. Okay.
Sure.
So we have all the ice machines in the restaurants.
Okay.
Lucky for us, we are a company that can buy ice machines. But because the kitchen use a lot of ice as well, they use the ice for chilling ingredients after the boiling.
Sure.
And the way that you use the ice, it should be smart. Like imagine we use a lot of the ice in the wine service as well, and in the end of the wine service, we use that ice to chill the kitchen, the equipment that's the kitchen that we need to clean, and we are talking about this yesterday. We use that ice to wash the floor, to mop the floor. Use that that ice is not ice anymore.
I'm laughing because I tricked you on the last night when we were having dinner and the ice bucket was full of water, no ice anymore, and I went, oh, you're trying to be smart and up my whatever. What'd you do with how could you change it? And your Fernand's answer was perfect because you said, oh, there's so many different ways I can do it, and you use it for watching the plants.
Yeah, watching the plants and cleaning the kitchen.
Cleaning and that's enough. I mean, it's such a, especially that I was sitting in a restaurant that there's so many different plants, and this is how you can play with this. Okay.
We normally have we work with 3 types of ice.
3 types
of ice. We use the big blocks that you normally use for garnishing, like when we want low dilution in the drinks. Okay, we use this in Roku, in Alma, and in Brilhante. Okay, they cut their own ice. This is a plan of work behind the ice, and I think if the team are into it, let's do it. Okay, if they have time,
sure.
If they want to do this, let's do this. Otherwise, we use the Oshizaki. Is a brand of this is one of the best for me.
Quality ice
for making ice cubes. Because they are more dense and they dilute less. It's like a big ice cube, but in a small portion. It's 30 grams. And use this in almost our restaurants. And after we use crushed ice as well. When we want a high dilution, we use crushed ice, like in mojito or caipirinha or something like that. Otherwise, we use the
I think it's worth mentioning what we talked about the other day is that you're probably aware of the fact that producing crushed ice is cheaper, less energy demanding than producing the cube of ice.
Yeah.
So
it's easy.
People normally think that it's the other way around, but it's actually
no.
not. So
crushed ice you can produce much more, okay,
yeah, for the
with
same.
less energy.
Yeah, less energy.
And you should use it for different ways.
Sure. And then on your menu design, when you plan it, would you put a lot of attention to this element as well? Like, you know, I don't say those 12 drinks they have on the menu, would you try to be quite balanced in terms of ice use, so you don't overuse one ice and then underuse the other?
Normally it depends, and depends of all the operation. Imagine in a restaurant that we serve oysters, I will need the crushed ice for
Why would you say
for
oysters?
the oyster service. And here we try to save some ice for the oyster service and don't use it too much in the cocktails.
Okay.
We have some restaurant that they doesn't have crushed ice at all. So
Okay.
in that occasion, we design the menu to have only ice cubes. So, but it's only about the occasion.
Okay. So squeezing up a little bit ice takes me directly to another element of the creative menu design and the menu engineering, which is the pre-batch drinks. You know, something that you're laughing already because we've had a number of conversations about it. I love the concept of pre-batch drinks. They very clear and obvious illustrations of sustainable approach. You know, pre-batch drinks are sustainable, they're energy savers, they can help to save money and negotiate good deals because you sell in, you're producing in large quantities at the same time. They cut down on the frequency of deliveries, which is quite important as well. You know, use of plastic, and then ease up they make the purchase process easier. They also help you with the loop, and then the most importantly, they save you loads of time, and time is something that we cannot really produce. But they can also be controversial, and I know that someone, you know, was preparing for this talk asking, oh, well, what is the controversial about it? Well, it's the controversy in the eyes of our consumers that some people will like to have the drinks made in front of them from the scratch, you know, bit by bit, ingredient by ingredient, to see the whole process all the way. So this is the controversy that can be part of that. So where do you place your pre-batch drinks? Do you pre-batch? Is it something?
It depends.
Okay.
In some, I'm not like a super fan of pre-batching. We use it when we need it.
I need to muscle you a little bit. I need to work on it, okay?
We use it. Imagine we use like a pre-batch in Alma. It's a 2 Michelin stars. Who do the cocktails is the sommeliers. So and actually
you do pre-batch drinks in your Michelin star restaurant.
Yeah, of course.
There we go, guys.
Because
beautiful.
It's a nice idea because I have a lot of preparation in these drinks.
Okay.
And we should go into the preparation time. We should spend more time during the preparation, and in the service, you need to be really quick. Okay. Because this is a sommelier that doesn't have time, and it needs to be quick. But I think in the pre-batch, when you need to do this, or when you use these techniques, this is like a technique. You can use it or not, but when we use this technique, probably is if we want to make like a easy cocktail. Imagine like we can do pre-batch of the Negronis for aging. But if you do just pouring over ice, you kill a little bit the magic behind the bar. So my approach is pre-batch some stuff, but not everything.
Sure.
Because you shouldn't kill the
maybe like
energy
high
behind
sellers,
the bar.
you know, you know, high energy outlets where there's high.
You save time, and the time is really important. But at the same time, you should bring something different in the operation.
I'm gonna speed it down now because last night we were having you know a prep up talk and a conversation about it. You said to me, "Oh, I have a very pragmatic approach," and I thought to myself, "Oh, what does it really mean?" And I never asked you this question yesterday because I just wanted you to sort of give me the answers within the way you talk about it. And I can see that you are very, and I think it's quite fascinating because you have this very pragmatic approach that is. I think the pragmatism is very sustainable. Yes, we do need a bit of a revolution in a change. We do need to be, you know, straightforward sometimes and stuff. But at the same time, you want business to be sustainable, and this pragmatic approach, you know, very forward-thinking, very conscious approach was I think what makes you having 160 restaurants, not minus 160.
This is really important because the sustainability part is not only about the environment. Everyone talks about the waste in the environment, and my big thing is if you don't need to recycle is the best way because we reduce all the waste that we have.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you want to be more sustainable, you need to we need to think big. You need to think how to be sustainable with your team, how to be sustainable with your bills. So it's a nice business
with your
or
suppliers?
not. With your suppliers as well.
Okay.
You should understand what is the problem of the supplying.
Okay. Because this is one of the things that I wanted to talk on with you as well. Obviously, very quickly, and the suppliers. I know that you like to have this healthy split between the big boys and the big companies that supply you with
And
numbers of different and the small local producers. So you can actually how does it work with in your restaurants?
I have a lot of products from Pernod Ricard, of course.
Sure.
I really like the range because I think they have a little bit products
Universal
for everything.
And everyone knows.
It's super diversity. But I like to use local ingredients as well. We have a lot of cool Portuguese spirits that we should use in the cocktailery.
And this is how you support your local communities as well, no?
We can do this. We can do with the helpings, I'm telling you before, the local ceramist. We can develop the glass with them. We can do this with the microherbs. We can do this with a biological farm that produce some ingredients that you don't have every time of the year, but you can arrange with them to have these ingredients. And even with the big products, we have a problem with champagne the last 2 years. I went to Champagne to understand what is the problem. If you understand, you can be more conscious in what you're gonna do.
Okay, so one last thing is about the team.
Okay.
Being sustainable, being creative behind the menu design and stuff. It should also consider the team. How do you get your team work together in a menu design? Is it something that you get people involved in within the system, or it's not really?
It depends. In my opinion, I'm quite hard because I think the people my teams in the bar, they are there to serve the guests, to make cocktails, to be super hospitality. They can improve the way that we serve cocktails and experience to the guests. But their job, they are not creative, create always something. Because I think this is the problem in the bar that we have today. It's everyone wants to create something and be super creative and inventive. And after they create things without logic. So what we do is, me and the head bartender of the bar, we create the menus. Normally, I create the necessity of the drinks. I can give them some necessities. Imagine, like I need a sweet drink with tequila and some vegetables. Create an idea around this, and I create first the idea, and after I create the drink to go with this idea.
Okay, so
just one more thing about the team. It's really important to get the team participate in the creation of the drinks. So normally what I do is in these special cocktails that we have, I left this to the team create these cocktails, because this we can create, we can test this 1 or 2 days or 1 week. It's a small amount of time. They can be more creative, and they can explore this part.
Okay.
And we win in this situation as well.
Amazing. We could be talking for we've way exceeded the time.
We don't have more 2 hours.
We have more two more hours, so I'm going to do the takeaways now from the talk, and then we ask our guests, our audience, to maybe throw some questions. I'm pretty sure there are some. I've already received from the guests. There's some questions here. Just to I always wrap it up with one very famous to me, an important line. Mar Victor Hansen, many years ago, he said this very, very important sentence: if you do things the same way that you've always been doing, do not expect a difference in your result, in a change. So if you want to change things, you have to change the way you process the things. And the loop, try to make the small steps. This is very, very important. And I think being a baby steps is something that is extremely crucial in the way you bring the change.
And you should plan your changes. So
exactly.
If you
and
plan
then
it,
using the 5 R's, the famous 5 R's from the Bar World of Tomorrow. The reducing, the reusing, the respecting, the recycling and rethinking is the platform, is the idea behind of also the loop. So be cautious. I think we've said a million times. Be planning. Go with the plan. Be respectful to the environment. Reduce the amount of ingredients, but reduce the amount of suppliers as well. But reuse the ingredients. Really very important. And try not to recycle if you don't have to.
If you don't need to recycle, this is the best way, because you don't throw nothing away.
You don't see that, but we have people around us here. They're going, please cut it. So we gotta cut. We gotta cut. We need to go short. Finally, I found a person that can talk for hours about the sustainable process, which is amazing. So, ladies, I'm sorry, next one is going to be like 2 hours long. I'm bringing another talkative person to the mix. Guys, I think, I hope you've enjoyed it. I think having Ferrano on the show has been extremely practical. I love your approach. He never prepared for the talk. He only got my script yesterday at midnight, so there's no way he could prepare for the talk. And this was conscious decision from both of us, so you could talk freely about the design. So I have some questions here.
Let's go.
Normally
they are hard, or
they're normally very hard. And what is very important, they're normally the questions for you, not for me.
Okay, let's
so,
go.
what are the tips for being more sustainable within classic cocktails you propose on your menu, or perhaps no longer include them?
Okay, it's a nice question, because yesterday we visited 2 restaurants that we only have classic cocktails.
Yes.
Okay, because in my opinion, nowadays every.
Can you say the names of the restaurants?
Yeah, of course. It's Brilhante.
Yes.
Okay, it means shining in Portuguese.
I've been there. Yeah, it's shining. Yes.
It's a whiskey bistro restaurant. It's really nice. I think it's brand new. We have we opened last year, and in this restaurant and in Rocco, this is in Chiado.
Yes.
It's a big Italian luxury restaurant. Sure. We only do classical cocktails. Everyone said, no, why you don't do your super creative cocktails? No, we should preserve the classics, because sometimes you lost. If you are always changing, I really like to change and do like flipping the classics, but in some places you should have the classics really well done, because normally the people do their cocktails super well done, and the classics they do it.
Would you think that pre-batching could help to be sustainable in classic department?
We do we do some techniques of this. Imagine in the Negroni you can do this. In Manhattan you can do this. In some classicals you can do this. But normally what I think you can use techniques to preserve the fridge. You can fridge maybe your vodka for your dry martini. You don't need to dilute it well. You can add what normally in the Negronis we add the right amount of water than we want for the dilution, and they are in the fridge. I don't add ice. I only add ice in the serve. You can do smart things like that to improve your time and your result as well. Because like this, I know my Negroni is going to be always. I was going to
ask you about rewashing the ice, but I'm not going to touch on that because it's going to be another long story.
Washing the ice?
Yeah, like washing the ice. When you stir the drink.
Yeah.
If
you reuse.
If you reuse.
Depends. Depends of the concept.
I know that some people do, and it can be controversial, but. If you repeating the same drink one after another, then
I think the dilution is going to be too fast if you wash it.
That's another thing, exactly. So, can you elaborate a bit more on the non-alcoholic trends you see in your bars? Well, some smart person asked me this question. Well, ask you, and its relevance to the responsibility piece on the bar of tomorrow.
Yeah, this is really important. Okay, now we are seeing a lot of transformation in the way that people consume the drinks. The people want less alcoholic drinks or non-alcoholic drinks, and they cannot be like a blend of juices that we have.
Or tonic with lime and angostura.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You can do really nice things, and nowadays you have like the twist and sparkle sodas that you can make your own soda. You can make your own vegetable cocktail, super creative. You can do like the non-alcoholic Negroni that we had last night. This is like
because you are a very responsible driver. You were only doing non-alcoholic drinks.
My last drink is a non-alcoholic Negroni, and it's okay.
It was beautiful.
It's not like a kid cocktail. You understand?
So probably answering the question would be that you put a lot of attention, and it's a serious business now, as opposed to just the Mickey Mouse show
just
that was 5
years ago. Do you understand?
I
sell more. Depends of the concept, but in our burger shop we have seven restaurants in this brand. It's called Honorato. Yes. We serve more non-alcoholic cocktails than the alcoholic cocktails because of the lunchtime. The lunchtime is really important.
Yeah, exactly. And then one more thing, it's the one piece of advice for someone who wants to start changing their menu.
Okay.
What would it be?
The first thing is stop, pick up a pen and a white paper and start designing the things.
Bravo.
What is your needs? Because normally what the people do is the inverse. They create some cocktails and they are attached to the cocktails. They love their own creations and they add it in the menu. And the overall, it doesn't make sense. So I think the best thing is, do the research, do the homework, and start designing the things. What is your needs? Because normally what the people do is the inverse. They create some cocktails and they are attached to the cocktails. They love their own creations and they add it in the menu. And the overall, it doesn't make sense. So what I think do the plan of your menu. We should have like 3 sweet drinks, 2 super boozy ones, 2 acidity, and 2 fruity or something like that. Always one with red berries or something like. You do your.
So would you say
your
conscious
script.
planning?
Yeah, conscious planning.
Conscious planning.
And
Okay.
after you should have as well like a democratic menu. So you should have drinks more expensive, less expensive, for everyone.
For everyone.
And with this, you see your necessities and you create for your necessities, not the opposite way.
Fantastic. Listen, for now, you've been wonderful guest. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation and giving your massive knowledge and experience and sharing all those different ideas and what you do. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I have really enjoyed it. So keep up good work. You know,
Thank you so
keep
much.
on looping, keep on
on
looping, because the loop keeps you looping. And we're gonna see you in the next episode very soon. You will find out when and who with and how and what we're gonna be talking about. Thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful day. And for now, thank you.
Thank you
It's been
so much.
wonderful. Thank you.